We start with something healthy for you. Support for the Don Lemon Show comes from Brickhouse Whey Protein. I've got to be honest with you. I've wasted money on protein powders that did nothing. No energy, no strength, and definitely no results in the gym. So if you've been there, you know the frustration. Well, the doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition explain why most protein powders fail. Cheap fillers like maltodextrin, soy, corn syrup, even cellulose. Your body can't use that junk. That's why I switched to Brickhouse Whey Protein. It's bioengineered by doctors, not marketers. The clean formula gives it superior bioavailability, which means your body actually absorbs it. You feel the difference fast. Better recovery, lean muscle, real energy. So since I've been using Brickhouse Whey, I've noticed a real change. No bloat, no stomach issues, just results. It is even lactose-free. So don't let junk protein sabotage how you look and feel. Switch to Brickhouse Whey for guaranteed results or your money back. Go to thenewway.com and use the promo code LEMON for 20% off. That's the new WHEY.com, promo code LEMON. Good morning, everybody. So glad that you could join us this morning for Hot Topics, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m.-ish, as you guys always joke around with me. Thank you. Thank you for the well wishes. By the way, in the comments, I'm still under the weather. Okay, so bear with me if there's any sneezing, coughing, or sniffling. All right. So good morning, Don from Chicago. I'm so glad. Let me know where you guys are. I know Chicago is here. I've seen some folks who are down in Florida, and I've also seen some folks who are in the Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, which is where our breaking news is. So if you're joining us now, make sure you hit the smash the screen and hit the thumbs up because it affects the algorithm and more people get to become aware of our channel. And so we appreciate you joining us this morning. Here it is. You're looking at live. These are live pictures outside of John Bolton's home in Bethesda, Maryland. This is the breaking news that we're starting our live stream with. The FBI is currently raiding the former National Security Advisor's home. Again, it's in Bethesda, Maryland, as part of a, quote, national security investigation in search of classified records. Now, why are they doing this? Do they actually think John Bolton has something? Are they just being petty? Is it revenge? We can assume a lot from this, but we don't know because they had to go to a judge, a magistrate judge, to get a warrant in order to be able to do that. And that's a pretty high bar to cross. An FBI official said in a statement that the agency was conducting court-authorized activity in the area and there was no threat to public safety. In a post just after 7 a.m., the FBI Director Kash Patel writing this, quote, "No one is above the law. FBI agents on mission." Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino also appeared to refer to the raid in posts on X, and they say, quote, "America's safety isn't negotiable. Justice will be pursued always." Bondi wrote earlier this morning, quote, "Public corruption will not be tolerated," Bongino wrote, okay? The New York Post, of all places, was the first to report the news of this raid. It got the exclusive. Someone leaked it to them. The raid began around 7 a.m. Eastern Time. No other addresses or locations are presently anticipated to be searched, per the New York Post. So John Bolton, as you know, has been a critic of Donald Trump. He was actually in the administration, the first Donald Trump administration. He served two Republican administrations, first as ambassador to the United Nations during George W. Bush's administration, and later as a national security advisor to President Donald Trump for about a year and a half during his first term. That did not end amicably. Trump and Bolton did not part ways amicably, with the president in 2019 claiming he had fired Bolton, Bolton claiming that he had offered his resignation after a disagreement. Despite working with the Trump administration, John Bolton really emerged as a fierce critic of Trump after he left office the first time in 2021, even writing a 2020 memoir about his time in the administration. So there's lots to discuss here. Let me know what you think. Is this a revenge? I've been saying on this channel, also when I was on with Ari Melber on Friday, that this was Donald Trump's revenge tour. Is he getting back at John Bolton, who has been criticizing him fiercely lately over his handling of Russia and Ukraine? Basically saying that Vladimir Putin was, and I'm paraphrasing here, just leading Donald Trump around like walking a dog. That somehow he doesn't know what's going on and why Donald Trump has such affection and affinity and give such deference to Vladimir Putin. The New York Times reported the raids this morning. Headline, this is a big story. It's everywhere. Trump administration live updates FBI searches John Bolton's home. The interesting thing was, as we look at the live pictures outside of his house, he was not at home at the time. He was actually at an office building in Washington, D.C., where witnesses or folks who saw him standing outside of this office building with people, I believe the reports are that 2 people or a couple of people who clearly had FBI written on their shirts. And at the time, do we have the John Bolton tweet? John Bolton tweeted as it was being raided. He wasn't home. He had no idea. Russia has not changed its goal. Drag Ukraine into a new Russian empire. Moscow has demanded that Ukraine cede territory it already holds in the remainder of the Donetsk, which it has been unable to conquer. Zelensky will never do so. Meanwhile, meetings will continue because Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize, but I don't see these talks making any progress. I agree 100% that there will not be any progress made. Nothing is going to come from this. John Bolton is right. Donald Trump wants a peace prize. I'm being told by producers that he didn't know what was happening. He just didn't care and continued tweeting about Ukraine. But there are reports out there saying that he didn't know. So either way, John Bolton is not backing down. Yes, Dennis Russell in the comment section. So if he is being punished for truth-telling, shame on them. Yes, he is. Again, now we don't know what's in this, what evidence or what information they gave this magistrate judge in order to be able to raid John Bolton's home, but it was enough to give probable cause that a crime was being committed. And that's what has to happen in this situation. And so these are all the live pictures outside the house right now. But John Bolton is not believed to be at home right now. This is a distraction. Thank you very much for the smart people who are in the chat. This is a distraction from Epstein. This is one of the most deranged Epstein. What is in those Epstein files? What are they trying to change? What is so bad in those Epstein files that they're trying to change the narrative so much, trying to distract us, you, the American people, so much? What's in there? I don't know. It is something is up with these Epstein files that has Donald Trump losing his mind and his entire Justice Department trying to somehow throw people off the trail. This is an Epstein distraction. As a matter of fact, the lawmaker was on CNN this morning and said as much. Here it is.
It looks political to me. I mean, it looks political. It looks like it's also an attempt to distract from the other big news of the day, which is the first production of the Epstein files that's required by subpoena from the Oversight Committee on which I sit. And they want to change the conversation repeatedly. This is going to happen every day because they don't want people talking about the Epstein files or about their mismanagement of the economy.
All right, let me follow up on that. You think you were questioning the timing of this and raising a possible connection to the turning over of some documents of Epstein files to your committee today?
Yeah, I think today is the first day that the DOJ has been required to comply with the subpoena. They said that they would start producing documents today. I'm concerned that they're going to slow walk that as well. But there's tremendous clamor for these documents and transparency as to these files. And as you know, both Donald Trump as well as Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, are trying to prevent that from happening, and they want to change the conversation.
And that's what you think this raid, the search at Bolton's house is about?
It could be. I think that there's going to be repeated attempts to distract from, both the economy as well as the Epstein files.
Let me talk you.
Muted, Don.
That was this morning on CNN, and that was Representative Krishnamurti, and he is right. This is a distraction from the Epstein files. But this is just how sick this administration is. Donald Trump is smarting over Mar-a-Lago being raided back in 2022. I don't know if you guys remember Mar-a-Lago, but we'll show some of the pictures raided back in 2022 because Donald Trump, after he left this presidency, they realized that Donald Trump had taken classified documents. I think we have some of the video, Andy, of that raid. And so it was raided in the middle of the night, and Donald Trump has never gotten over it. Now, and claims that there was, and there have been claims now that there was no evidence, no probable cause for it to be raided. And so if there's no probable cause for it to be raided, is for Mar-a-Lago to be raided, was there probable cause for John Bolton's home to be raided? Because in order to get a warrant to raid someone's home, a magistrate judge to sign off on that, you have to have some pretty compelling evidence. So in this case with John Bolton, perhaps there is some compelling evidence here. I want to see it. I want to know what that evidence is. But the evidence presented about Mar-a-Lago back in 2022, solid, strong evidence. Just into the Don Lemon Show here on the Don Lemon channel, Donald Trump reacting to the raid on John Bolton's home.
They'll brief me, probably today sometime.
And
I tell Pam and I tell the group, I don't want to know, but just you have to do what you have to do. I don't want to know about it. It's not necessary. I could know about it. I could be the one starting it. I'm actually the chief law enforcement officer, but I feel that it's better this way.
He says he doesn't know about these things. Now, they are going to execute a raid on a former Trump official, a national security advisor, and Donald Trump is not going to know about it? Do you guys actually believe that? Someone that Donald Trump has, Donald Trump cannot stand John Bolton. He tweets about him all the time. Kash Patel says no one is above the law. Tim Miller was on. Now, the New York Post got a tip, and I think Ben Wittes got a tip because he said he was expecting some police activity. But just as it was going down, Ben Wittes was on with Tim Miller on the Bulwark, and he was describing what he was seeing at the scene of this raid. Here it is.
I have had no contact with the Bureau, only with Montgomery County police officers who I want to say were totally professional. I saw them under weird circumstances, which was that I was sitting outside John Bolton's house. And they thought I was trespassing and asked me to move. And they asked me what I was doing there. And I said, I'm expecting police action. And a little while later, they turned out, realized I was not a crazy person stalking.
Well, I don't know about that. You might be
following.
both a crazy person and there for good reason. So is the entire block there?
The entire street
closed off?
is sealed off from, so this runs from Bradley Boulevard down to a street called Green Tree down there, and I assume they have sealed it off at both ends.
And what's the extent? I mean, right now we can just kind of see the Montgomery County Police. Like, what is the extent
there are 3, probably more at least, black vehicles up there that are FBI, and I did see one person get out wearing a FBI jacket. It was not Kash Patel. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, this is going to sound like a weird thing to say, but my main concern right now is for John, whom I don't know well, but I have deep political differences with, but I think is, I can't imagine under what circumstances an FBI early morning raid on his house rather than say a a subpoena is the appropriate way to get documents from him.
It's worth noting that they, that I think one of Trump's first actions when he went into office was to, get rid of John Bolton's um, clearance, and then eventually stripped security from John Bolton altogether. He had federal protection because of the Iranian plot against him. So, and this is not coming from nowhere. He was also in Kash Patel's book.
Yeah.
He was listed on the members of the executive branch deep state. Um, so
Okay, so you can now see, I don't know if anybody can see this, but I can see it. There are a number of law enforcement personnel there, some of whom are wearing FBI jackets on the other side of that black car.
Yeah. So that was this morning as the raid was going down. Ben Wittes on with Tim Miller at the Bulwark. Now you heard Tim mention the plot against John Bolton, and Donald Trump, in a petty, vindictive move, had removed John Bolton's security detail. John Bolton, if you're a Lemonhead, if you're part of the Lemon Nation, has been on this program. This is him talking about the removal of his security detail on this very show not so long ago. Here it is.
So do you believe, so right now you don't believe we're in a constitutional crisis? You think we're headed towards one? I'm not sure. I think we're kind of in one, but look, this is about.
Well, I think the Trump
This is the wrong one.
administration's plan.
Here it is.
I'm sure there are things that keep you up at night. I'm wondering if you're worried about Americans right now. How worried are you? Because I know earlier this year, the president terminated your Secret Service detail, despite the fact as recently, and correct me if I'm wrong, as of 2022, an Iranian Revolutionary Guard official attempted to hire a hitman to get rid of you.
Right. Well, it was a very petty and vindictive thing for Trump to do. It wasn't just me. It was Mike Pompeo, Mark Esper, Mark Milley, and others that he pulled their security details. Trump himself, before the election, was the target of the Iranians, also trying to hire a hitman to go after him. So he knows this threat is real and present, and it's a terrible signal to our adversaries around the world of what kind of leader, quote unquote, he is.
So, John Bolton has not been, I don't know, he has not gone easy on Donald Trump and the criticism of Donald Trump and the Trump administration. And a lot of the folks in the administration don't like John Bolton because John Bolton is a hawkish. And the Trump folks try to pretend that they're not war hawks, but they really are. And they just don't like that he has been so vocal in his criticism of Donald Trump, even this morning as it was being raided, according to my producers, that he knew about it and he just didn't care. And he kept writing and tweeting, criticizing Donald Trump. Russia has not changed its goal: drag Ukraine into a new Russian empire. Moscow has demanded that Ukraine cede territory it already holds in the remainder of the Donetsk, which it has been unable to conquer. Zelensky will never do so. Meanwhile, meetings will continue because Trump wants a Nobel Peace Prize. He's right on. Donald Trump does not want to hear that. But I don't see these talks making any progress. And that's where we are. Again, on this program, we talked to John Bolton not so long ago. What month was that? It wasn't so long ago. Was that back in March or April?
I think it was April.
April? John Bolton talked about how everything is personal for Donald Trump. Here it is.
To Trump, everything is personal. He doesn't have a philosophy. He doesn't do grand strategy and the national security area. He doesn't do policy. It's all about personality. And his mode of argument is to try and bring down his opponents by denigrating them. And I think that's, so this is sort of the playbook being played right here.
Everything is personal. And look, I mean, that could be John Bolton speaking today. It sounds like what he would say about this raid on his home. That everything is personal, and you see that playing out. You do see that playing out now. Now, look, again, I don't know let's just be honest. I don't know who the magistrate judge was. Peter, if you guys can find Nikki, someone. I don't know who the magistrate judge is. If the judge is a Trumper or a liberal or just someone who's just nonpartisan, I have no idea. But you have to have some strong evidence in order to get this kind of a warrant, to be able to raid someone's home. But I'm also told by several different sources that once something like this is in motion, it's hard to reverse it. If you are the target of an investigation from the Department of Justice, when you get entangled with the government, it's hard to unwind. And most people just end up making deals because it's financially, it's not feasible for them to be able to, it's not sustainable to be able to fight the US government. That's a tough one. So in my question about who this judge is, because Donald Trump is in charge of every single lever of government right now, every branch of government, judicial, executive, and legislative branch of government. And I asked John Bolton about that, if he was concerned and if he thought we were in on the verge or in a constitutional crisis. Here it is.
So right now, you don't believe we're in a constitutional crisis? You think we're headed towards one? I'm not sure. I think we're kind of in one, but look, this is about.
Well, I think the Trump administration's playing fast and loose on a variety of fronts, not just immigration. I think some of the executive orders are just intended to cause trouble. I think on some they do have a good solid legal ground, but I think they want to see how far they can push, and I think it's irresponsible. I don't think the president is getting the right kind of legal advice, and really that I think is what Judge Wilkinson was trying to say in this opinion. Think about this before you go any further, because once we get into it, I don't think anybody should doubt the courts are prepared to stand their ground on this.
So there you go. John Bolton knows what he's up against, but he still appears to be standing strong, resolute in his disdain and opposition to this cult totalitarian administration. I would not want to be in John Bolton's shoes, I will tell you that. We're going to hear from Kash Patel. We're going to also hear from others who are saying that this is a gangster government, and perhaps John Bolton will respond. First, a word from our sponsors. Support comes from Beam. Let's be real. Summer doesn't mean life slows down. The news cycle keeps spinning, the noise gets louder, and the burnout, well, that is the goal. They're trying to get you to dial out, because if you're exhausted, you're even easier to control, right? But here is the thing. Rest is resistance. One of the most powerful things that you can do is wake up clear, energized, and ready to show up. That's why I use Beam's Dream Powder, a natural sleep blend that helped me finally get restorative sleep. It's loaded with science-backed ingredients, reishi, magnesium L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. Dream helps you fall asleep, helps you stay asleep, and wake up without that groggy fog. Since I started using Dream, I feel sharper, more grounded, like I've got fuel in the tank again. And the taste? Incredible, smooth, delicious, and easy to make part of your routine. Over 17.5 million nights of better sleep. That's the Beam difference, okay? So right now, Beam is offering up to 40% off their best-selling powder, Dream Powder, to my listeners. So go to shopbeam.com/lemon and use the code LEMON at checkout. Sleep well, wake up ready, the fight continues. Support comes from 120 Life. This one is personal. Someone I care about has struggled with high blood pressure, and maybe you do too. Did you know that it's a #1 risk factor for death? 1 in 2 adults has it. That is a coin flip of your life right there. The good news is that you can take control naturally. 120 Life is a blend of delicious superfruit juices clinically shown to lower blood pressure. No pills, no side effects, just results that you can measure with a simple home monitor. Hundreds of doctors recommend it. And if you have diabetes or other health issues, it's still safe. No, I've seen people make the switch and I watch their numbers drop. So try 120 Life risk-free. If you don't see lower numbers in 2 weeks, you get your money back. Go to 120life.com and use the code DON for 20% off. That's 120life.com. promo code DON. Nothing to lose except your high blood pressure numbers. All right. And thank you so much to our sponsors. We really appreciate our sponsors here on the program. So I want to talk about whether this is revenge if they have credible evidence. We do not know. But just remember, in all of this, it is really rich that Donald Trump's administration is raiding John Bolton for classified documents when he was raided for classified documents, and they're trying to pretend that there was no basis for Mar-a-Lago. Kash Patel is saying that, and then we have a fact check. I want you to listen to Kash Patel, and we're going to fact check him. First, before Kash Patel, go to Kash Patel. Let's play Kash Patel. Go ahead.
There was no crime. There was no predicate to go and invade Donald Trump's home. We have answered that definitively. Now, you know me, working backwards from that point, we are going to hold people accountable who weaponize that system of justice for the following reason. We, the FBI, must restore accountability and credibility to the American public so we can arrest more top 10 predators, so we can go after more terrorists, so we can find the other people involved in Abbey-gate. These are the cases that matter to the FBI, and the distractions, to put it mildly, from the prior leadership regime are what thwarted the American public's belief and credibility in the FBI. And so when they do raids like Mar-a-Lago, now the American public knows it was made up. It was completely false. It was completely unconstitutional pursuant to our judicial courts. And we are working into those matters to say, why did you do it? We know there was no reason. Now it's time for accountability, and that's who we're talking to. And by the way, Larry, I'd like to announce on your show, if you got nothing to hide and you were in DOJ and FBI before, you're welcome to come talk to the FBI at any time. And if you don't want to come talk to us, we're going to come find you, and we're going to put you in an investigative position and posture that will make you feel very uncomfortable, kind of like you did when you weaponized the government. The only difference is we're going to be doing it on a factual, legal, and constitutional basis to do so.
It's interesting to hear someone who is an appointee, the head of the FBI in an administration, threaten people openly in such a petty way. We're in this is a whole different world, a whole different level. And if this is the way they treat people who work for them, officials, people who have a platform, people who have agency in this society, imagine how they would treat you. You see how they're treating people on the streets with no due process. And so if you're like, ha, 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 rah, 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 you're going to be next. Fact check, okay, for Kash Patel, because he didn't say much there that was true. A federal judge, just so you know about the Mar-a-Lago raid in 2022, a federal judge signed the Mar-a-Lago search warrant after a finding of probable cause. The FBI seized 700 pages of 184 unique documents with classification markings, including 25 documents marked top secret and 92 marked secret. The FBI and prosecutors later determined that Trump directed employees to destroy evidence and obstruct justice. The resulting criminal charges were dropped only because Trump was elected president. The judge was Eileen Cannon. Eileen Cannon is a Trump appointee whose rulings largely favor Trump. Judge Eileen Cannon concluded that the Mar-a-Lago raid search was legal. She rejected Trump's efforts to have the evidence thrown out. The problem with trying to rewrite history is that the facts are right at our fingertips. So Kash Patel on Fox News lied, and I would assume that was just a clip, that the anchor or host or whomever it was, whatever you want to call him, did not push back and did not fact check him. Lies, lies, and more lies. Lies on top of lies. Do you know what this is? This is a gangster government. JVL over at the Bulwark attests. Here it is.
Sorry, don't have this clip.
You don't have JVL?
No.
Okay, well, then we'll bring in Jolly, our intrepid correspondent, chief Washington correspondent. Jolly.
What's up, Don? No, you're right. It's all lies. And I just finished, before I come on with you, watching a string of clips from when the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago. And let me quote current assistant FBI director, deputy director, Dan Bongino. This is some third world bullshit, he said. Let me quote Kash Patel. This is third world activities. They all said it. And then Fox News was screaming to the high heavens. This is weaponization of the Justice Department. If there's one thing that has been true about MAGA from day one and will be true forever, every single accusation is a confession. It's projection. They think about it because they plan to do it. Listen, first of all, I want to be clear. I don't feel bad for John Bolton, dude. Pick a fucking a saying: sleep with dogs, you get fleas. Never thought the leopards would eat my face. Whatever. But this is the weaponization of the Justice Department. Donald Trump is attacking his list of political opponents, and of course, John Bolton is very high on that list.
Yeah, look. Yes, I agree with everything you said. John Bolton's, John Bolton's a war hawk. John Bolton was a Donald Trump supporter before. John Bolton is, I don't agree with him a lot politically, but his criticism of this administration, I mean, you have to say he's right on. And he's all about retribution. He said that that everything is personal for Donald Trump. But I think it's rich, Jolly, that Donald Trump was accused and found guilty of these very same crimes. And now he is sicking his FBI and Justice Department on someone else because I guess he feels that he can. And just remember, if you think that, that they were weaponizing the Justice Department, because the same Justice Department found that Joe Biden had classified documents, right?
Right.
But guess what? Joe Biden, he did what?
He cooperated. And he was cleared through cooperation, right? So like the difference between me and a lot of the, online commenters is when the report was released about Joe Biden and the classified documents, I read almost 100% of it. It's a very long document. I think it was like 90 some pages or something. I don't remember, but it was long, but I read it as a former Intel guy. So one thing I want everyone to understand is I spent 13 years with the top secret clearance. I understand how, classified documents work. I understand how. So I read the report on Joe Biden. He was cleared for good reason and he cooperated. I also read the report on Donald Trump. It's completely different. First of all, he ignored multiple subpoenas by the FBI. He lied to the FBI. His lawyers drafted letters saying to the FBI, we've turned in all the documents. And then when the raid finally happened in August of 22, guess what? They found 700 some odd documents in his fucking bathroom. That means you lied, bro. Like, here's the difference between screaming this is a witch hunt and it actually being a witch hunt. If you scream it's a witch hunt, then I show up and leave empty-handed, like what seemingly happened at John Bolton's house. It's a witch hunt. But if I show up and I leave with box after box after box of it.
Oh, you're muted, Jolly.
Jolly.
Sorry. But if I show up and leave with box after,
you muted yourself.
Am I unmuted now?
You're good.
Okay. But that's not a witch hunt. Okay. If I say, Don, you have, bourbon in your house, and then I raid your house and I find a liquor cabinet full of bourbon, bro, that's not a witch hunt. I was right. If I leave empty-handed, I was wrong. Like, they've gaslit us so much that I think we feel stupid sometimes. Is this real life? It's almost like a bunch of like middle schoolers are in charge and they're using classic middle school defense to try to like get us to look the other way. This is a distraction to the Epstein files. This is weaponization of the Justice Department. And this is complete banana government.
Can you say that again? Because this is, I want people to know, we have not forgotten our mission, which is Epstein. This is a distraction to the Epstein files, but it is the most horrific and petty and dangerous type of distraction. You want to ruin someone's lives. You want to entangle them. You want to put them in a legal entanglement with the government. And by the way, Jolly, I don't know what your sources are telling you, but my legal sources and justice sources tell me when you get into something like this with the government, it's usually game over.
Yeah, the federal government has a 98% conviction rate. But let's also say this.
They said that about, remember what they said about Southern District?
Bingo, right. That's what I was about to say.
Right?
Because what we're witnessing is the complete disassembling of a functioning government. So, I mean, I 100% believe they're going to try to drum some charges up on John Bolton. They're currently, as we speak in real time, still trying to drum charges up on former President Obama about the quote unquote Russia hoax, right? Like, it's everything but Epstein, and it's targeting political opponents. He's already said he's not going to honor. This is what's terrifying. He's not going to honor the pardons that Joe Biden gave because of the auto pen, right? This guy is rewriting what a functioning government looks like. And we are currently we're in authoritarian light, very quickly approaching authoritarian real time. I don't know the word there, but this is some terrifying stuff. This is like you said, a gangster government. This is a guy, by the way, who built his, sorry to keep talking, but this is a guy, by the way, who built his real estate career by working with the mob. So it's no surprise he's using mob tactics.
Mm-hmm. I want to play this from JVL over at the Bulwark. He says that this is right now a gangster government. I'm sure you'll agree, but let's listen to JVL.
It's just the world we live in. It's gangster government now, and it's really something, because as Ben noted, John Bolton is not a gangster. If the government wanted to search his house, they could have done this cooperatively, right? They in the same way that this often happens with high-profile cases and people who are former government employees, who are not flight risks and who are trustworthy. You work through their lawyer. You arrange a time for your agents to come over and execute the search warrant. Closing off the street and hitting his house at 7 a.m., that's just intimidation.
Yeah.
And it's really striking.
Jolly.
100%. That's what's happening right now with everything. Intimidation. Pete Kegsbreath just announced today that they're going to arm the troops in D.C. now. Think about this. You got armed troops walking around D.C. We got MRAPs. I was there last night. There's police everywhere. They're flooding the street. Okay. We got the FBI raiding John Bolton's house at 7 a.m. for nothing more than the optics of showing everybody this is what happens when you go against Trump. Intimidation, because let's be abundantly clear, this man has no intention of ever ceding power. Ever.
What do you think? Look, I know you're not a legal person. And by the way, it looks like the FBI pretty much, if you look at some of the feeds here, pretty much has left. Well, there are other folks driving up. There are other folks driving up to the home. John Bolton doesn't strike me as the type who would steal documents. Look, you never know, but the guy seems pretty, by the book, clean. You know what I'm saying? And so this is, again, I believe, all a distraction. And also, it's like the thing with Obama. Nothing has come out of this Obama thing. Remember, it's like, oh, Obama, is he going to be indicted? Nothing has come out. It was just, they just want to put it out there to tarnish someone, to sully them. And this is the grossest kind of thing that you can do to someone. I'm telling you, the karma on these people, it's bad, but they don't really care about the outcome. They just care that this is a distraction, and it makes someone, one of their political enemies, look bad. And also, it puts them in danger and in jeopardy, and it hurts them professionally and financially.
Financially, big time. Listen, they're throwing things against the wall to see what sticks. Can we get something to stick on Obama? Maybe. Can we get something to stick on Bolton? Because I agree with you, Don. This is 100% to smear people's names. But make no never mind about it. If they can get any of this shit to stick and actually prosecute somebody, they're going to do it. If they can circumvent federal judges who are, blocking the shit they're doing, rightfully so, if they can circumvent the letter of the law in such a way, if they can find a way to put President Obama on trial, they're going to do it. If they can find a way to put John Bolton on trial, they're going to do it. Because as we said, intimidation is the tactic. And the best intimidation you can get is to go from smear campaign to conviction. If they can do that, they're going to do it. This is completely a functioning government.
You're the right word was what you said that you didn't mean to say.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's a non-functioning government.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like watching. It's like, because I have 5 kids, and you know,
take it easy there, buddy.
We just figured out what caused it, so we changed our water. But
okay, Lord, we're off the rails here. You're muted. Jolly, you're muted.
I don't know if that happens. I don't know how that keeps happening.
You know what? I figured out it happens to me. Do you have a cable? There could be. I had an issue with my cable. Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah, I had to put one in that's compatible. Sometimes they go bad.
New cable. But sometimes my younger kids, they're asking questions about the world, and they have like wild ideas. Hey, Dad, why can't we do XYZ? And it's just the craziest thing. But they're kids, so you talk them through it. Here, baby, this is why we can't do this and that. But the problem is, in this case, it's a 79-year-old man in charge of the government, and every time he has a wild cockamamie idea, they're like, fuck it, let's do it. Like, this is embarrassing. The guy was standing in a park yesterday, reminded me of that scene from that movie where Snoop Dogg was the caddy. Have you seen that movie? Snoop Dogg, he's like, oh, I want a pitching wedge, but Snoop gives him a 3-wood, and he's like, oh, you know a lot about golf, and Snoop's like, no, I know a lot about grass, and like, but it reminded me, like, this can't be real life. Like Saturday Night Live could never. This guy, the president of the United States, is standing in a park talking about, I know all this about grass. We're gonna fix the grass. Grass has a life. Like it's unhinged shit, and we just let him keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna hear more from John Bolton and Jolly, but first a word from our sponsors. Support comes from Ollie. If your dog could talk, well, your dog would probably say, feed me Ollie. The tail wag, the happy hops, and that look, right? That's the Ollie effect. I've got friends who have switched and swear that their dogs eat better than they do. Fresh human grade food, no fillers, no preservatives, just real clean ingredients, and it shows. Shinier coats, better energy, healthier digestion. Ollie creates a custom meal plan for your pup based on weight, activity level, and health needs. And it's the only fresh dog food brand that includes unlimited routine health screenings. That's next level care. Right now, you can get 60% off of your first box when you go to ollie.com/lemon and use the code lemon. Plus, it comes with a happiness guarantee. That's ollie.com/lemon. Give your dog the best because they deserve it. Support comes from Mint Mobile. You know what doesn't belong in your summer plans? A massive wireless bill. That's why so many people are switching to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, you can get 3 months of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. Same coverage, same speed, just way less money. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. Now, I have seen the difference. Mint Mobile delivers the same crystal clear services as the big guys without the huge price tag. So use your own phone. Keep your number and then start saving. So go to mintmobile.com/DonLemon and grab this offer right now. 3 months, unlimited, just at $15 a month. That's mintmobile.com/DonLemon. Thank you. Thank you so much to our sponsors. Jolly, we appreciate our sponsors. We have some good ones.
Dude, that Ollie stuff is actually really legit. I give it
Ollie is legit. Can I tell you about Ollie?
Yes.
So we started Ollie, both our dogs, we met someone who said, Ollie's the best food. It was someone who was in the, like a dog doctor, doggy doctor, not a vet. It was a vet.
Called a vet.
I guess. I know it's called a vet, but it was a doggy doctor plus something else. And so they recommended Ollie, and we tried it, and the dogs were great. And then we fostered a senior dog during COVID. And when he came to us, his his coat was bad. It was spotty, blotchy. His paws would bleed. His ears were whatever. We started feeding it Ollie, and all of a sudden it's like a brand new dog. So Ollie is legit.
Yeah, I had my kids. I had my dogs on the the real food, like farmer's dog type stuff. And then I heard a bunch of stuff. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not gonna say what I heard, but I was like, oh, maybe I should switch. And we looked into it. And we landed on Ali. I was like, let's try this stuff. It's fantastic. We give it $4. It's amazing.
Good stuff. It's good stuff. Okay, so let's get back to the program. Now, I think that John Bolton predicted this because not so long ago he was on, God, this was what, 10 days ago, he was on ABC, and Jonathan Karl asked him about retribution if he was afraid. Here it is.
So before you go, we're about to talk about Trump's retribution campaign we're seeing at the FBI and the Justice Department. You're obviously on his enemies list, at least Kash Patel's enemies list. Are you worried that they're going to come after you in some way? I mean, he's hinted at it before.
Well, I think he's already come after me and several others in withdrawing the protection that we had for from the Iranians for the attack on Qasem Soleimani. So I think, and I said in the new forward to the paperback edition of my book, I think it is a retribution presidency.
Yeah.
Bingo. I mean, it is, and he told us it was going to happen.
Don.
Oh, Don was muted. Sorry.
No, go on.
No, he told us it was going to happen. Like Donald Trump even said, leading up to, prior to becoming the Republican nominee in 2024, he made it clear he's going to go after these people. See, the difference is when Donald Trump was saying things in 2022 and 2023 and 2024, I was believing him. He said in 2022, I'm going to round up the unhoused and put them in camps. Now he's doing it. He said he was going to require teachers to pass a patriotic exam to be a teacher. They're now currently working on implementing that. He said he was going to sue private universities and create an American university. That's currently in the works. He said he was going to come after all these people that, quote unquote, came after him. Now he's doing it. Listen, the only people that are surprised, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, are the people who weren't paying attention. But if you weren't paying attention now, or then, pay attention now. I promise you, everything I just said can be backed up with receipts, can be backed up with video, can be backed up with date timestamps of this guy saying he's going to do this. John Bolton, you know who another one? What's his name? He took away he's saying he's going to take away his pardon. Oh man, God damn it.
He's taking away his pardon? Comey?
Yeah. Not Comey. Why can't I think of his name?
What did he do?
He was the main guy going after Trump. The
FBI guy.
Why can't I think of his name? Anyway,
the guy with the glasses on CNN. Why can't I think of his name?
He needs to go like out of the country because that guy I think's in a lot of danger. I really feel like that. Jack Smith. I feel like Jack Smith is screwed, dude. And so like. And I really think that he's going to continue this thing with Obama. I don't think the Obama thing's dead. I think he's going to pursue it. And by the way, while we're talking about things Donald Trump said he's going to do and then ended up doing, he's going to run in 2028 too. I hope you guys are all prepared for this very real reality. Unless the Big Macs do us the solid, unless the Big Macs come in clutch in the 11th hour, this guy's running in fucking 2028.
Trump personally ordered a series of probes into his political enemies in his first term. I'm reading from the tweet from Matthew Gertz. They largely fizzled out as the GOP appointees who pursued them found there was nothing to them. The lesson he learned was to ensure that his second-term appointees wouldn't stop. So he got people who would not say no to him.
Thank God people are listening now. I said this in 2022. I said, what he's going to do his second term, he's going to surround himself with loyalists who won't tell him no. The difference between now and then was in his first term, number one, he never expected to win. Okay. Honestly, he never expected to win. And then number two, he had himself surrounded with people that would say to him, no, let's not do that. Go play golf and let the big boys run the government. But now he doesn't have that. Now he has loyalists around him who tell him, yeah, that's a great fucking idea. Whatever you say, our Lord and Orange Jesus.
It's really kind of frightening. I mean,
terrifying.
Don't you think?
Terrifying. It's terrifying because Don, look, what happens when he says, you know what? That guy, Don Lemon's always talking bad about me. You know, what happens? What happens is this fucking social media guy, Jolly, whatever. Let's raid his house next. Because that's coming, guys. That's coming. It all starts with this. It starts with the blatant and obvious political opponents until it's absolutely comes down. During the campaign, during an interview with Fox News, Donald Trump said, our biggest enemy is the enemy from within, the communist and the radical left. That's what he said. This is exact words, the communist and the radical left. So once he starts labeling us communist and radical left, it's a wrap.
But you know what, Jolly? I think this is, for me, the frustrating thing is that people are dialed out. If you ask the average person on the street, they'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And they don't realize the danger of this. And I'm not sure how to get through to those people because, to them, everything is like, yeah, everybody does it. But this is not an everybody does it type situation. And
everybody doesn't do this, by the way. I mean,
everybody doesn't do it. But we're so used to the government working with people, even if they're corrupt, at least they acted within the bounds of some semblance of, that there was a constitution there, right? That there were some rules at least. This administration is not doing this. So I believe that JVL is right. This is gangster government. And go ahead.
It's called American exceptionalism. You understand that a major part of how, and this might sound preachy, but I'm sorry, it's true. A major part of how we colonized this country and genocided the indigenous people was through the concept of manifest destiny and American exceptionalism. We are entitled to this land. God gave it to us. And this is a perfect land. None of that bad stuff in the other countries happen here. It can happen everywhere except America. We believe that fascism can't happen in America. We believe that there can't be evil in America. We believe that the American government can't target its citizens. We believe that the American government cannot oppress and marginalize. Now, had we listened to the Black indigenous community for the last fucking 200 years, we would know that this is true and it can happen and has been happening in America. But American exceptionalism under the blanket of white supremacy and white privilege has taught us that it can't happen in America while it's actively fucking happening in America.
I'm glad I write about manifest destiny in the book that I released last September.
Oh, nice.
And and how the evangelicals are such hypocrites when it comes in the religious right is such hypocrites when it comes to Donald Trump, and knowing the history of this country, they don't want books that teach Black history or real true American history in schools. That's why they're doing what Donald Trump wants to do in the Smithsonian.
And you know why, right?
The manifest destiny. It's like we are taking this land because God said this is our land, and so it's a way to change the laws to fit your narrative or to fit what you want it to be. That's what, and in this sense, it is white supremacy is what it is. That we can take this land because we are white men and God said we can do it. It doesn't matter if the natives were here first. It doesn't matter that the Mexicans were here first. It doesn't matter that the border crossed the Mexicans and not the other way around. We don't even know. We don't even realize that the Mexicans were here first and whole Western expansion before Western expansion, that was part of Mexico. Like they don't get it. They're like, they're coming across the border. It's like, no. We pushed the border.
Right. Texas exists because of slavery. Texas exists because Mexico told America you can't bring enslaved people into Mexico. So we fought for that part of Mexico so we could have enslaved people. By the way, the reason they don't want to teach Black history in this country and indigenous history in this country is because if people knew what this country has already done to Black indigenous people of color throughout history, then they would know what this country is actually capable of doing. To your previous point, Don, the reason nobody on the street believes this is happening, the reason people on the street believes everybody does this and nothing's going to come of it, it's all political theater, is because they don't believe that this country is capable of the things that this country has already done. They don't teach people about it.
Yep. The things that this country has already done. They don't think that we're capable of it. It's really unbelievable. I just want to hear this. This was, producers, do you think this is important? Which one? Do you think I should play the Psaki one or the Morning Joe one? About, I think the Jen Psaki, because he says that Trump keeping the documents is disturbing. Well, let's listen. Let's listen to Jen Psaki. We'll listen a little bit and Jolly and I will respond.
Joining me now is another member of the Trump administration who's speaking out against his former boss, former National Security Advisor, Ambassador John Bolton. I want to start. The New York Times has been reporting that former President Trump described these documents as his beautiful mind materials. Is that consistent with what you saw when you were his national security advisor? And was there any one particular document that stuck out to you that he was obsessed with?
Well, I think he was kind of a collector of things that he thought were of interest to him for some reason or another. Clippings, mementos, classified documents. And it was very disturbing. We could see in the course of meetings with him, intelligence briefings, decision meetings, that sometimes he liked to retain things, and it became the practice just to make sure that we got them back in as many cases as we could. Obviously, we failed in many cases, but it was a pattern.
All right. Andy, they're saying I'm hearing the audio is choppy for some folks. It sounds fine to me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sounds good to me. So anyway, what he's basically saying what he's saying is Donald Trump believes, first of all, he doesn't believe in the classification of documents, right? And he believes that he can do whatever he wants to do.
Correct.
These documents I have on my desk or that came to me, I am the president, therefore I can do with it whatever I want. And then when they found him, they're like, he's just stomping his feet like a kid and saying, these are mine, leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry,
right?
I think my power glitched or something. Anyway, first of all, keep in mind, this is the same people that said he can declassify documents with his brain, right? Like, I can declassify it with my mind, which is not how document classification works at all. He doesn't have that authority. And also keep in mind that he thinks he's above the law. Remember when he got caught on tape giving classified documents to a reporter and was saying, see, this completely clears me. They wanted to invade Iran, not me, but they blamed it on me. He keeps these documents because he thinks this is get out of jail free card. He has zero respect for the classification.
Interesting. You guys are saying that it's choppy. Nothing is choppy here to me. Everybody, maybe it's a YouTube issue. Guys.
Yeah, that must be it if we all hear
it. All fine. Jolly, it sounds fine to you, right? Except Jolly's lights going on and off like he's in a thunderstorm.
I don't know what's going on here, bro. It's fucking weird.
Uh-oh. Maybe they're in our dun, dun, dun.
I think my house is getting raided by the FBI right now. No, I said, listen, on a lighter note.
I'm being told it's very choppy, but I'm looking on my YouTube. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's a YouTube issue. Yeah, so sorry. Okay, so Jolly, thank you. Well, let's end it there since we're having some issues. Thank you, Jolly. I'll see you, okay? We'll see you soon.
See you.
Thank you. So everyone, that's what's going on. John Bolton's house has been raided. We'll see what happens there. If you want to know anything about the show, all you have to do is go to donlemon.com. And you can see, if you want to know where to watch, click watch. You can become a subscriber. It's free right there. Or you can become a member and keep us viable on these streaming streets, okay? It's important that you support independent media because we can bring it to you without corporate influence. We can tell you like it is. And remember, everybody, also merch. You can get the merch. Click on store there, or you can go to our main page and just click on merch. And there's all the stuff that you love, that you demanded right there. This is really scary stuff, man. Yeah. Really scary. I'm sorry that we have choppy. I think it's a YouTube issue because it's running fine on our end. We have 800,000 subscribers now. We are very happy. 800,000. We're closing in on 1 million. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you're subscribed. Just because you're a member does not mean that you are subscribed. Okay. And so it's good now. Maybe it was just a split screen. Here's what I want you to do. Just go and check. Go on to donlemon.com and click on to our main page on the YouTube, that little arrow right there, and just make sure that it says subscribed. Okay? If it doesn't, just hit subscribe. It's free. And then make sure you join. Get, at least the minimal of our membership. Very reasonable. Actually, more reasonable than most people I know. Okay? So it's better now. Also, let's see. Do we have some folks with the merch?
We have one.
We have one. Who do we have? Oh, wow. Wow, she's beautiful.
This is Marilyn from Newark, New Jersey.
Hi, Marilyn, Newark, New Jersey. I love the hair. I love the shirt. She's got the fan, the nails. She's doing it, dipping and doing, as Wendy would say. Oh my gosh. And different shirts as well. Thank you, Marilyn. Wait, what's her name from Maryland? From New Jersey. Maryland from New Jersey?
Yes.
Maryland from New Jersey. Maryland, thank you for being such a big supporter. We appreciate it here. Okay. Thank you, guys. I know 800 subs. We're moving on up to the east side. Okay, who's our song guy again?
Matt Gregory.
Matt Gregory. Go find Matt Gregory. Do we have his?
You can follow him on Instagram at It's Matt Gregory.
It's Matt Gregory on Instagram. And Matt Gregory gave us a permission and came up with this song.
It's the Don Lemon Show. It's the Don Lemon Show. He's unmasking the truth. He don't take no shit. It's the Don Lemon Show. Don Lemon. Don, 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 Don. Release the Epstein files.
I love it. Release the Epstein files. That's a good thing to end on because this is Epstein derangement syndrome by Donald Trump and his administration. What are they hiding? What's in those Epstein files that they don't want us to see, that they don't want you to see? Shouldn't they be revealed? Shouldn't they be released so at least you know and you don't have to deal with people's homes being raided and all the other distractions that go along with it? Let's meet with Putin and Zelensky and let's have a fight. So people talk about that instead of the Epstein files. And so you can be informed without being inundated until I see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern time for Lemon Live at 5. Turn the TV off.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will